This is the box squat exercise. You're going to perform the box squat exercise most of the time in our programming with a set of double chains or bands if you have them at your training facility. We like chains the most. They're not required, so if you don't have any chains at all, if you're working at a Gold's Gym or a YMCA and you don't have any chains there, then don't worry about it. Today I'm going to show you the chains because there's a safety issue that you need to address whenever you're performing the box squat. You'll also need a box to sit on so that at the bottom of the movement, your femur here is parallel to the ground or slightly lower. We use a 15-inch box, and it works for most of our athletes. Some of our taller athletes will take a 15 or 25-pound rubber plate here and set it down. Again, if you're at a Gold's Gym and you only have iron plates, then and you're a little tall, probably one 45-pound plate would work as well. Also with box squats, a lot of times they'll have stools that you can spin up or down. If you have that, great. If not, this 15-inch box with a plate on top of it works as well, especially if you're working from a garage gym or something like that. So, first of all, let's talk about what the box squat is not. The box squat is not a back squat with a box under your butt. It's a totally different movement. It trains the same muscles, but it trains other muscles more specifically. With the box squat, really what we're targeting here is hamstring and glute activation, far more so than even the back squat. So whenever I perform a back squat, the bar will be on my back and I'll have a narrow stance. When I'm performing the box squat, as you'll see here in a second, my stance is going to be a lot wider. That wider stance is going to correspond with a lot more glute and hamstring activation. So, a couple of safety notes here. Whenever you're using chains, these chains want to push the weights out, especially as I step back. So always use bar collars, no matter what the weight you're using. It's easy for this weight to slide, and you may brace yourself and torque your back and ruin a couple training days because you've got a sore back. So always use bar collars to secure the plates. The heavier it gets, obviously, the more jeopardy your back is in, and the more important this is. But in our gym, we always practice having the bar collars on when we have chains and we're doing a squatting movement, especially the box squat. So I like to have the box close by me because I only want to have to set up by taking one step back and then kind of settling in. I don't want to have to take 3 or 4 steps to get back to the box. It's no more dangerous to have it right here if I'm anticipating it than it is to have it further back. For me, it's a comfort thing. I don't want to take a lot of steps whenever I have weight on here. You'll get a normal grip on the bar, so it doesn't have to be any special width or anything like that, whatever you normally use for back squat. Take a deep breath. Bring your shoulder blades together as you walk under the bar. Tighten up and unload it. So as I unload it, you can see these chains swinging. These chains want to push the weights out. So I'm going to take a step back, another step back. I'm not going to look down. I don't need my eyes to find the box. I can just use my shins and my feet. I'm going to get a wide stance, much wider than my shoulders, much wider than I'm used to for squatting. From this position, I'm going to stick my butt back. My butt's going to continue to go back as far as it can. At the bottom of this position, what I want, ideally, is for my shins, my shin bones, to still be perpendicular to the floor, just like whenever I stood up. In this way, I'm essentially loading and using my hamstrings to control my hip flexion on the descent. At the bottom of this movement, still holding in my breath, I'm going to unload my legs, so right now I'm not supporting the load with my legs at all. And then, still holding my breath in, I'm going to explode off of the box. Another rep, a full rep looks like this. So the big coaching cue here is shins vertical. What we see a lot of athletes, especially newer athletes, do, they'll break their hips, but then they'll immediately start coming forward with their knees. This is not going to give us the training effect that we want. It's also putting your knee, Lee, go ahead and walk around here to the front. It's also putting your knee in a dangerous position. If you look at my knee right now, it's not over my shin bone. So my connective tissue on both knees is having to take and absorb the shear force of the weight on my back. So as I go down from the front, you want to look like this, where your knees are still tracking over your feet, and then you can stand straight up with it. So again, with the box squat, if you're using chains or bands, always use bar collars, because they're going to want to push the bars off. Have the box situated close to you so that you don't have to take too many steps back. Before you unrack it, before you execute the lift, deep breath in and hold it. Wider stance here, toes pointed out. And as you drop down, you want to keep your shins vertical, knees tracking over your toes, so that as you stand up, you're not buckling like this. That's the box squat.